What's going on, guys? Junior's Fishing Company with an experimental video. So I've been tying some bloodworm chronomid style stuff the last couple days, and I've had these size 18 Orvis Klinkhamer hooks for a long time, and I've never really used them. Really never have I gone smaller than a size 16. And I kind of was just messing around with some of these hooks. I figured I had 50 of them anyway. And so I'm going to show you just a little pattern that I've never even really used it. It'll be kind of an experimental winner to see. But so I've got a size 18 Klinkhamer hook here. I mean, these things are tiny. And this is a 1/8 inch matte red, or I think it's True Blood fire hole. And this bead is too wide for this hook eye, and that's fine. So what I'm going to do is, and I'll show you kind of why this jig is going to fish a lot bigger than the hook looks, because actually I'm only going to tie on probably about this much on to the hook. Everything else is going to be hanging off, and I haven't seen a ton of patterns like this. So let me know if there's a name to this or something. So I've got some Midge size sparkle braid, UTC. This is just red. And I'm going to tie it in so I've got some Midge size sparkle braid in red, and what I'm going to do, and you could use the mini. I don't have mini in red, but the mini I think what might be a better size. I just don't have red, and I think color is going to be more important than the size. So I'm going to tie this in right up to my hook point, and these love to slide onto the side of the hook. But I'm just going to tie that down, and I'm actually going to push this. That feels a little bit loose, so I'm going to build this up a little bit more. So this is going to help keep that bead where I want it, but I'll also show you in a second what I'm going to do with it. So that's a little bit tighter, so that's going to sit pretty well. I'm going to put a little bit of super glue right on the inside of this. Now this is sticking out the front. I'm going to end up pulling this back, but what I'm going to do before that is I'm going to whip finish my thread off and get it started on the back, just like a turn or two. I don't want to build up more bulk before I get that bead on. And you just want to be super careful with that tiny little hook eye. I'm assuming I can get some 3-pound fluorocarbon through there, because I'll have a rod spooled up with 3 pound. So I'm going to push this right where I want it, and again, this hook is so silly small that my fingers are going to block a good chunk of what I'm doing. So I'll get my thread started behind the bead, just a little, not too much. then I'm just going to put a tiny bit, this is just Loctite, this isn't the gel, right into there, and I can kind of clean off with a little bit of paper towel the excess. Just try not to get a bunch on your fingers, huh? Now that whole bead has a bunch of super glue in it, and when that hardens, man, and it's waterproof too. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this over and I'm going to tie it in right on top of my hook. So now I've got a little flash on that bead, and what I'm going to do is I'll come behind here just a little bit more, just a couple wraps down, nothing crazy, and I'm going to come back up and build just a slight little bundle of thread there, and I'm going to whip finish. I'm going to put some head cement down. Some of those I whip finished a bunch because it helps add just a little bit more bulk. Now, looking up sizes of bloodworms and how I've fished bloodworms, whether it's in mud or deep water or whatever, looking online, they're typically like 5 to 20 millimeters. And so what I can do is I can take my ruler and I can flip it to centimeters, and obviously if you have a 3rd grade education, or 4th, I teach 4th grade and I teach this, so I can get to about 20 millimeters, and I'm going to measure that starting right where my bead is. Now I'm not going to go 20, I think I'm going to go 15, and I'll put my finger, again this is way more exact than you really have to be, but about 15, and I'm going to snip that off, and I've got a little bloodworm. And what I'm hoping is that when I jig with this, that it's going to sit like this in the mud or whatever. If it ends up sitting like this, it looks like this little part is going to be kind of coming up, and I can just kind of hop it on the bottom. I know when I jig it, obviously the my line will be right here, but still, so I don't know, I was messing around, and we'll end up kind of seeing how this one plays out. Junior's Fishing Company, juniorsfishing.com. I've got some other patterns I'm going to show. Hopefully these are quicker videos. Yeah, we'll see you in the next one.